very, very grounded in the Hawaiian ancestry. I wouldn't say the teaching per se, because for some reason, however I have been taught, has come through me without me knowing the teaching. And then I found out about the teaching after I learned what I learned and discovered that there's actually an ancestor who did a very similar thing to what Author. So, which allowed me to understand the connections, which is what I want to talk to all of you about before Electron Friends comes in, is how you lead your life. We've spent the day learning about bringing your soul energy through in a soul print, and seeing the creativity and the energy that flows, and your ability to perceive the artwork that's on the paper, the ability to turn it in a different shape and shift your perception, the ability to, you have the experience of looking at it and have another person come up next to you who looks at it and sees a completely different thing than what you saw. Those are all very fun and creative ways to express and experience what the teachings are that would be very useful for all of us to use in our daily life. If you look at a situation and you take the soul printing as an example, and a situation in your life where someone has said something that feels unpleasant to you, and you imagine what you did with the soul print, and you take that situation and you imagine it as a board. Actually, I brought my whiteboard. I don't know that I'm going to get it out because I'll just find the visual to you. But if you were to write that situation or that experience or the words even that person said on the board, and you turned it around and, you know, shifted it up a little bit and took your perceptive abilities and spun a different story about it. That's really what the whole purpose of these teachings are. The whole purpose of living in the light, the whole purpose of what I've experienced through life, my life, what I know to be true, what I came to in this point in time was because of my life experiences, my inability through them to understand, but my ability to, as gracefully as possible, in the moment, knowing what I knew, to not only make it through and survive, but to actually thrive. And to, when I look back on certain things and speak about them, do it with a smile. And do it in a way that I can speak positively about some of the things that came out of that experience. Bringing it from the soul printing down to Barbara's stuff, we spent the afternoon, again, being very creative, expressing ourselves, allowing for ourselves to go places that we don't normally go. Chris, I would imagine that you, in your workplace, you don't very often sit down and color. Actually, when is the last time that you colored?
Yeah, that's a good point. Can't remember the last time that I colored. Not something you'd normally do.
Probably 30 years.
Well,
Since your
probably 10 years at least.
10, 20, 10, 15. Somebody else. How many years since you've actually sat down and colored an entire picture? Never.
No, last week.
Really? Yay!
And it was a poppy. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Poppy stained glass one.
Oh, good for you. Oh, well, that's because you work with children.
Exactly.
Okay. Which, perfect point to bring in this moment in time. She works with children in her exterior world. What we did today on many different levels was work with our child. We work with our child. We acknowledge that that child still exists. Some of us have led lives that have created experiences that made us feel like our child never existed. That it didn't know how to come out and say, oh, I want to play, I want to do the happy dance, and I want to turn cartwheels. We led lives, some of us, that at some point, if it wasn't even the whole life, that our child was hiding behind the wall because it didn't remember how to come out. And it peeked around the wall. It covered back up because it thought, oh, I can't do that. It's against the rules. That came out multiple times through the day. Someone had rules, we can't do it this way. Okay. So what we did today was you consciously chose to invite your child, you consciously chose to hold your hand out, literally, or within, to your child and say, come on, come out and play with me. Did any of you feel interestingly, did you have interesting feelings while you were coloring?
I felt like a kid again.
Yeah. I mean, what are the thoughts when you're sitting there? coloring, if you haven't colored in a very long time, when we're feeling the energy, that's the other fun part, and I so want to drive this point home for all of you. When you are in that childlike state, you are receptive. You become receptive. The linear, boxed in, I can't do it, it's against the rules state, that is closed off. Spirit is receptive. Spirit is beauty. Spirit is love. Spirit is high vibrational energy that flows. It integrates. It flows through you. If you are continually and constantly in a state of non-childlike beingness, and you're avoiding that inner child that lives within you, which, by the way, in the Hawaiian teaching, the inner child is the unconscious self. The unconscious self is what directs a lot of our life, knowingly or unknowingly. If you recognize it, it becomes more conscious. You literally are able to raise your awareness and your level of ability to interact with it and accept it. So that inner child is your unconscious self, and you invite it up and out, and you say it's okay to feel fear, it's okay to feel anger, it's okay to feel joy, it's okay to feel anything that it feels, because I promise you that that little child inside you has oodles and gobs of feelings that it has not expressed, because you have been up here as an adult saying, that's not allowed. It's not okay to be mad, you can't be mad. That's one of the faux pas, in my opinion, of the metaphysical community, and I don't think it's been intentional, but it just is what it is. But there are many people who have taken that to such an extreme and such a degree of, ooh, I can't say that. It's negative. I'm going to be positive all the time. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about acknowledging whatever it is that's there, if it's a negative feeling, or if it's a feeling that feels unpleasant to you. It's about the fact that you acknowledge it and you shift it consciously into a different place. You invite it to come out and stop hiding and play with it as it is. It's not bad. It's a wonderful thing. It's part of our life. If you think that stuffing something under the carpet is how you walk away from something, it will just keep following you like a trail. It won't let go. And it'll hold on back here and keep appearing right here in your face. So everything that we did today was to invite the inner child to come out and play. It was to invite our receptivity and coming back full circle by inviting your inner child to come out to play and being receptive. The energy that is surrounding us in this room, physically, that you can see with your eyes, is a small tip of the iceberg of the energy that is literally being, I don't even know the word to describe it, showered, poured, infused, as above, so below. It's everywhere. That energy is everywhere. And when you are receptive and open to it, it flows through you. So you were sitting at this table today, and what was happening was that we all created a healing, not even a circle, a healing bubble that's beyond what you could imagine. Our energies were coalescing all day long today, not only with each other, but they were coalescing with spirit, with the angelic realm, with the star beings, with ancestors, with everything that you could ever imagine existed was coalescing in and out of our energy today. Why? Because we were receptive, we were open, we were not thinking, well, I speak for myself because I don't know what you guys were thinking, but I was not thinking about what bill I have to pay, or what time I have to be to work, or when I have to set my alarm to get up, or I have to go do my laundry. There was none of that occurring. You were receptive, you were open, and the energy that Carolyn and that Barbara and that myself set up in this room, and that the crystals brought into the space, and that everything that is out of our ability to sense was here. And it was flowing in and out of us. It was activating parts of you that have laid dormant for thousands of years. All of you are thousands of years old. We've been here so many times, and so many experiences have occurred, and we carry those with us. So this whole teaching that I have been exposed to just because of my life and because of my desire to figure out how to cope with it a little bit better has come forth in a way that assists people to know and understand how to take these things that we played with today and bring them into physical form in your everyday life. It's easy to play. Maybe not for everybody, but still, if you come here and you're in a group of people, you're going to play. The more challenging piece, or the piece that takes a little bit of getting used to, is going back out into your world and remembering that you are an empowered source of energy, that it's you that has the ability to interact with the world from your standpoint in a loving way, in a way that is honest, that's respectful, that's conscious of the decisions and the choices that you make, and that take care of you, but that also honor the people around you in a way that you don't expect them or need them to be what you want them to be, but rather you become what you choose for yourself, with the flexibility and an openness that allows you to change and shift with what's going on, and then you let the other people be where they are. That doesn't mean you allow them to step on you like a doormat. It means you stand there and say, oh, okay, that person's not doing that to me. That's just what they're choosing, that's where they are, and I'm not a fan of that, so okay, I respect, and I'll come over here and walk my path, and you can walk your path there. Where they are is not right or wrong. It's just where they are. So that's what this teaching is all about. It's about allowing people to really learn to stand empowered, to go out into their everyday life and to understand that no matter what lands at your feet, you go, oh, okay. That feels really shitty. And then you interact with that feeling. Is that something that makes sense for me to have that feeling about? Or is that a little irrational? And ask that part of yourself, ask that inner child, what's going on here? Why does that feel that way? It's really about learning to love yourself and other people at the same time. It's about understanding that inside and outside, yes, is the same. At the same time, it's very different because you are very unique. You are very capable of interacting in your own way, but you are one with all that is. So it's your part of one with all that is that you have responsibility of interacting with. It's your part of all that is that you communicate and interact with. That's the largest message. And these tags that we have been using all weekend long are the reminder. And it's not just to have this in your mind when you're looking at someone that you love for whatever reason. It's also to remind you that when you're looking at something or someone or experiencing an experience that sucks, remember the tag. I love me, I love you. It doesn't matter what you see, it just is. If it's there, it's there. You can't change it. But you can consciously choose to interact from a loving place. Kailash talked about it in a different way. He brings his gift through in the same message in a different way. It's the same thing. Life is what it is. We are a part of it. We live on this earth. If you experience something and you witness it, okay, well, it's part of your awareness. It's part of your experience. So then you get to choose how to interact with it. If you have a hard time bringing yourself to love a person who, for instance, murdered a child, I get that. I have a hard time with that too. I do. However, I am aware enough that I want to interact with that in the most loving way possible.